The incessant rain tapped against the window pane like a chorus of skeletal fingers, its rhythm matching the erratic thumping of my heart. I sat alone in my dimly lit living room, the flickering candlelight casting eerie shadows that danced around the room. The weather had taken a turn for the worse, with a storm brewing on the horizon. The wind howled like a mournful beast, and the rain grew heavier with each passing moment. I felt a shiver crawl down my spine, as if an invisible presence had brushed against me. I tried to dismiss my unease as mere paranoia. After all, I was safe and sound within the confines of my cozy home. But as the rain intensified, so did my apprehension. I had always heard stories of restless spirits and vengeful ghosts, and on this ominous night those tales seemed to claw at the edges of my mind. With an attempt at distracting myself, I turned on the television. Static buzzed on the screen, and the distorted voices of newscasters struggled to break through the interference. I sighed and switched it off, the silence now even more unsettling than before. The rain was relentless, a steady downpour that seemed to seep into every corner of my thoughts. I decided to make myself a cup of tea, hoping that the warmth would soothe my nerves. As I entered the kitchen, I paused. The raindrops pelting the window had transformed into something else entirely. Each droplet carried a faint, ethereal glow, as if they held fragments of distant stars within them. Mesmerized by this spectral spectacle, I couldn't tear my gaze away. But my fascination was short-lived. A sudden chill enveloped the room, causing my breath to catch in my throat. I turned slowly, my heart pounding like a drum. There, standing in the doorway between the kitchen and the living room, was a figure that seemed to be composed of the rain itself, a swirling mass of darkness and luminescence. I stumbled back, knocking over a chair in my haste. My mind screamed at me to run, but my limbs felt like lead, refusing to obey. The rain-formed specter advanced, its form shifting and contorting as if it were a manifestation of the storm outside. My voice caught in my throat as I finally managed to croak out a single word. Who? The figure didn't answer in words. Instead, it emitted a sound that was a mix of a mournful wail and a whispering wind. It moved closer, and I could feel its frigid touch despite the distance. Panic surged through me, breaking the paralysis that had held me captive. I turned and fled, my heart racing as I raced up the stairs. In my bedroom, I slammed the door shut and locked it. My breath came in ragged gasps, and I could hear the rain still falling outside, a constant reminder of the entity that now haunted my home. I grabbed my phone, fingers trembling as I dialed a friend's number. It rang and rang, but there was no answer. Desperation gnawed at me as I left a frantic message begging for help. Hours seemed to stretch into eternity as I huddled in the corner of my room, the rain's eerie glow seeping through the curtains. The storm outside raged on, its fury matched by the turmoil within me. It was as if the very atmosphere was charged with a malevolent energy. Just as I was beginning to lose hope, a soft voice crackled through the static on my phone. It was my friend, her voice laced with concern and confusion. I hurriedly explained the situation, my words tumbling over each other. She promised to come over immediately, and I clung to that lifeline like a drowning soul. As I waited, the rain's intensity began to wane. The ghostly figure seemed to retreat, its form gradually dissolving into the night. By the time my friend arrived, the rain had reduced to a drizzle, and the spectral presence had vanished. She found me shaken and on the verge of tears, but she embraced me with a reassuring hug. We searched the house together, finding no trace of the rain-formed ghost. My friend stayed the night, and her presence brought a measure of comfort. The storm eventually passed, leaving behind a sense of unease that lingered like a shadow. In the days that followed, I tried to convince myself that it had all been a product of my imagination, a manifestation of fear and isolation. But deep down, I knew that something unnatural had visited me that night. The memory of the rain-formed specter haunted my thoughts, a reminder that there are forces beyond our understanding, lurking in the darkness and the rain, waiting to emerge and unsettle our reality.